So there's not a lot required to change a limiting belief. Yet humans live with them identified for years, continuing to repeat the same patterns over and over and over. The hardest part is actually finding the authentic and aligned perspective that unlocks the limiting belief. Once, though, it's identified, it literally lifts you so you can no longer, not for one more second, believe that limitation. It's gone. It's common to try to replace the limitation with a new belief, like one you think you should have, but that doesn't typically work and results oftentimes in that new belief being a limitation. The truth is what actually sets you free. Want to see this in action? What you're going to see next is a clip from behind the scenes in one of my embodiment sessions where I'm talking to a client who has some fear and we actually unlock it. And you can tell in her energy how everything shifts and the belief that she had is completely gone. Check it out.
In my case, I've been teeter-tottering between a state of fear and a state of empowerment. And I haven't listened to the news, like the mainstream news, for 35 years. I mean, I don't even have a TV. So but through social media, through people, like I'll hear stuff. I'm like, I don't want to hear it. Why am I hearing this? Right. But sometimes I feel that I hear what I need to hear. But there's a part of me that is allowing me to go into the fear. Like, for example, there's a day 0 in Mexico City when the water is supposed to run out, like in the second largest city in the world. Right? And I'm like, oh my God, what are we going to do? I have to have a plan. I have to have a plan of escape, because in my being, I always need to have a way out. Like I can't even live in a cul-de-sac if I don't have another exit strategy. I can't have a one-way in or out, even in where I live, in my life, anywhere. It's like I have to have multiple exits so I can escape. So there's something big there, right? And so now I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going to run out of water. And then my mom sends me a video that the whole country is down to 60% of their like 40% of their levels of water from 2 years ago, and there's 40%, and everything's drying up. And I went on this other event that the farmers are letting the animals go because they can't feed them and they're all dying. And so I go into this whole angst.
Yep. Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. But what are you really afraid of?
Gosh, I think I'm just afraid of not being able to help.
Okay.
That I feel helpless.
You feel helpless? Okay, great. So you feel helpless now. What else are you afraid of? If you're helpless, then what's there to be afraid of?
Powerless, that I'm weak, that I'm I don't know, because I'm not even afraid of dying.
Okay, great. So if you're not afraid of dying, and all of Mexico, maybe all of the world, something happens, and we all vanish. We all die.
The end.
Well, the end of this reality, or us.
This reality.
Our consciousness playing in this reality.
Right.
Then what's there really to be afraid of?
I think I go into the fear of I haven't done anything.
Okay. So if your life here is complete, this video game, I call it the video game of Earth Realm, this player is complete. You go off, you have the, end of life conversation, and you're like, but I didn't complete everything. What is God or the universe or source or, whatever that conversation is going to be like? What are they probably going to say back to you?
You fool. No,
I
I feel
say that exactly.
I feel compassion coming through. I feel compassion, like it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the big question. Whose fear is it?
Oh, I'm absorbing everybody else's.
Right. Because there's in your world, there's actually not anything to be afraid of on the big fears, right?
Yeah.
So then that's exactly what there is to start becoming aware of. Okay. Now, I have a whole post that's going to go out in a number of them about similar to this conversation, right? The 3D, if we look at 3D, 4D, and 5D realities in consciousness, right? We have 3D, which is all about fear and control. Okay. And that's where all of what you started with, which is media, that's where media functions. It's all about fear and control. What are they trying to control? Your emotions. Okay. They present stuff, then people emotionally react. They're hooked in, they buy into the stories, and then they live their life based on being afraid of, or scared of, or excited about things that are being projected at them. Okay. Now, once we typically have some sort of awakening, we're in the 4D consciousness where we start to become aware that we have choice. We don't have to, be and live in reaction to everything that's told for us. And that's oftentimes when we give up our TVs or we stop watching the media, things like that, right? Because we know that does not really have anything to do with our own lives. But now that we have social media, like you said, it's coming through. And then even sometimes we think aware people are like, oh, now we're afraid of the water and all this stuff is happening or whatever, right? We're getting it seeping in. So no, I think it's just the next level of going, is this true? Is this something that I need to pay attention to? Because it might be, right? So say, for example, there actually is a water shortage, right? In Mexico City or all of Mexico. That might be something that you need to be aware of. That might be something where you're like, yeah, I'm going to start stocking up on water, right? Because of an awareness, not because of a fear.
Right.
Okay.
And that's Go ahead, go ahead.
So when you can go, oh, I'm starting to feel the fear as an awareness of, oh, right? It's over there. It's coming from there. It's activating because we're all going to feel fear the same way. Fear is an emotion, or it's a vibration. We always feel it the same, right? And then when there's fear and we go, oh, my little antenna for fear gets excited because I'm sensing the fear that's resonating outside of me. We go, I can either be fearful and I can function from fear and choose from fear and have the anxiety from fear and all that stuff. Or we can go, oh, I'm feeling fear. Let me start asking questions. Let me start getting curious. Well, wait a second. Is this true? And what that does is it starts having you observe it. So instead of embodying it and living as it's true, we go, well, is this true? Oh, well, the truth is it's coming from over there. So now I can start asking some questions. Okay. First question would be, is this media thing true or not? And you might go, oh, I'm actually getting it's not actually true. They're just trying to create fear. Okay. Is there anything for me to do? Maybe have a little extra water on hand. Okay, is there anything else for me to action? No? Okay. Do I need to move? Would moving be a contribution to me? Not right now. Okay. And that's where then your connection, your awareness to the fear is like the image I'm getting in my head. So I don't know if you did this in school when you were young, but we had these parachutes in the PE class or the gym class where all the kids would be around the parachute. Who remembers this? You'd be all around the parachute and then everybody would go like this, right? And then it put all the air in there and then we'd go put the chute behind us. And so we'd all be in there, right? So the fear is like the parachute and we're all getting in. We're like, oh, we're all going to experience fear together, right? But when we go, wait a second, is this true? No, it's not. We come out and then we can make choices that are more aligned outside of that sort of parachute or bubble of fear, right? And that's where you've been functioning for a long time by not buying into the media.
Yes. And I was
Right.
taken out of New York City before all the craziness started. Yeah. And I followed my guidance. But here now I'm seeing the trees that are starting to die. Now I'm seeing like even when the planters, they're all dry and there's no rain, it hasn't rained in so long, and I'm like praying for rain and stuff. I'm like, okay, this is actually happening.
Mhm.
So I feel the earth is like, yeah, but then like it could rain any day and then, right? So I'm like, well, am I going to live in the, well, it hasn't rained, or wow, the days are so beautiful, let me enjoy the beautiful day.
Mhm.
And so but I go, okay, let me enjoy the beautiful day. And then something happens and I get in the trigger again. And it's like,
Right.
oh my God, it takes so much energy for me to like get myself out of that fear. So I guess
So,
just ask the questions.
so the first thing is that when the anxiety, fear, whatever those triggers are, those you need to reprogram as, oh, I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling that's an awareness. That's not real. It's an awareness. The awareness to what? Ask a question. Wait a second. Let me pay attention to this. Oh, is this something I need to be looking at? Is this true? Right? Is there anything for me to do? Right? And then the other thing, so that's number one, right? That'll shift the energy right away.
Mm.
By what you're doing is you're, instead of embodying, you're starting to observe it. So you're going, oh, this is not me. This is something I'm perceiving. Let me look at it over here and see what it is. Okay. Because then it's taking it out of you resonating with it and going, oh, okay. And then in the moment, it'll shift.
Yeah,
Okay.
I already felt a shift.
Yeah. It's like instantaneously. And once you hit the right one, so if it doesn't shift right away, there might be a couple of questions deep that you go, oh, okay, there we go. There the energy shifted. Because it unhooks from whatever it's resonating with, like tuning forks, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
the next level of that is to go, okay, so if Mexico runs out of water, the question I sort of set out to the universe that's always there is, let me know if I need to leave. Okay. So with awareness, just there'll be an awareness of like, okay, it's time to go now. Now I had a similar thing in Denver. I left, perfect timing for me, right before marijuana got legalized recreationally, and it just went bananas because I didn't want to be in that. I didn't consciously choose to leave before that, but that's what happened after I left. And then once I left San Diego, like crazy stuff started happening in San Diego. And I went, all right, I always leave in the perfect time. So if you always leave in the perfect time, just like you left New York, then
Mhm.
just you just ask a question that's running. It's like, show me if there's ever a time I need to leave, and show me loud and clear.
Oh, I love that.
Okay. Then what we do is we drop into that trust and go, I'm always in the right place at the right time, and I'll be shown when I need to leave. Right. And then I'm here until then, or wherever until then. How does that feel?
Oh, that feels amazing. Yeah. Oh, and you know what? And I did that in a micro scale this morning when my phone literally broke this morning. And I was like, oh my gosh, everything's in my phone. I work from my phone, everything.
Mhm.
And I went to the Apple store and it took me 3 hours, but they recovered everything. And I went there, I'm like, I'm getting my phone recovered. And there was zero doubt about it.
Yeah.
So normally I'll go into fear, I'm going to lose everything. And then I was so calm the entire time. And then I was just like, is this going to be okay? And I just got, yeah, just go get it fixed.
Mhm.
And so I went and I spent all my morning, not my plan, but I came back with my phone working and I'm so excited because usually I go to the Apple store and I don't have the same results. But I was like, I am getting my phone back. So yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. I already felt the energy shifting big time. I feel
Love
it.
it.
Thank
Love
you.
it. Yeah, you are so welcome. It's funny because as you're talking about the doubt stuff or the drought, growing up in Colorado, we grew up in a drought, and there was always this, oh, there's not enough water, and wherever the water comes from, there didn't get enough snow. And then all of a sudden it's gone. And then I moved to San Diego, there's the same drought, right? And then all of a sudden that's gone. And I just wonder how much of all of that is actually just crafted as the media, right, is like, it's like pushing out Right. And then everybody starts thinking it's a drought. So then that gets projected into our collective reality. So here's another little sort of side note that I do. Somebody asked me the other day, that reminded me of it. They said, what do you do when you want rain? Now, most people will say, oh, I'll pray for rain or I'll envision rain. Well, what you actually, that's great. But what to take that a next step further is envision the reality where it has already rained. Okay, because this is what you're doing. You're not trying to control the how. Because what happens is if you say, oh, we need rain, there's a drought, then here's the problem? Drought. Solution, rain. So that's in problem solution world. You want to go to creation, you go, ooh, what do I want to experience? I want to experience the lushness of the greenness of my garden. I want to experience a full cup of clean water. I want to experience the rain on my skin, right? Like as an experience, not as a solution to the problem.
Yeah, from abundance and not from lack.
Exactly.
Because from the prayer part is like we don't have it.
Yes.
So I have to pray for it.
Yes, we have
Whereas
to pray for getting the solution to the problem.
yeah.
So if you go beyond that, we talk a lot about this in Creation Academy of like where we're trying to solve problems like we were talking about before, like the being fat on the body is the problem or being overweight is the problem. So we have to fix it with exercise. Well, obviously that hasn't been the solution, right? Because it's not working. Usually the problem solution isn't working like that. So if we go into creation, we go into the end result, which is what you want to experience, and let the universal field show you the how. Then we're coming out of how, problem solving, and into creation.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then you just go, this is what I'd love to experience, and then continue to embody it, right? And we remove the fear and all of that. We have ways to do that and go, all right, this is what I want to experience. And this is the same thing you're doing in your future self journaling.
Oh, love it. Love it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome. So welcome. I love it. Oh, thank you so much for bringing this up, because being able to talk about this, it was literally what I've been thinking about for the last 48 hours. So you just gave a beautiful for me to channel that into a nice little video clip for us. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Whooshes. I love it. Love it. All right, Suzanne, you're so welcome.
That was